So a little backstory. So I started a reasonable vegan channel like 6, 7 months ago. And right before I did that, I had my other channel, just my name, Carson Hughes. And I had come across Vegan Gaze, and either in chat in a live stream or just a personal email or comments or something, I asked her if she wanted to have a talk on my stream from that channel, and she said she did, and that we'd set it up, and that I should email her. And I sent her an email, and I never heard back from her, which is fine. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I have a strong thought on that. Like, I don't. At some point, depending on the person, like, I mean, I get a lot of emails, and I can't reply to all of them, but I reply to most of them. But if I tell somebody to email me because something's going to happen and then they don't, I find that I don't know. I definitely frown on that, but it's not a big deal. I like I'm just kind of analyzing it as a person that analyzes things. But anyways, I saw that she was live streaming a couple days ago, and I went on her live stream and I typed in the comments like, "Hey, you told me you wanted to talk a while back, and you never responded to my email." And she's all like, "Oh, I didn't know I ever talked to you," and I explained the thing about how it was on my other channel, and then she basically said, and before I explain what she said, I want to point out that like I'm not wanting this to be a negative thing. I'm wanting to clear up kind of a misunderstanding, and I don't know if she'll watch this, but if she does, that's great. But I think there's a huge misunderstanding, and that's what I want to clear up. But anyway, she said that she didn't want to have a talk because she didn't like the things I had to say. That so she's seen like some of my other videos, heard me say some things, and that she didn't like the things I had to say. And I would show this video, but her live streams aren't still available unless like you're a member, and then they come back. But so I'll paraphrase. I'll basically paraphrase her paraphrasing me. But the pretty much the main thing that she said, she might have a lot of different things she doesn't like about me and my ideas, but the main thing she said is that she didn't like that I said, and I wrote this down so I can repeat it, but that I said beatless Mondays, as in wife beaters not beating their wives on Monday is a great thing. Like that, something to that point. Beatless Mondays for people that beat their wives, not beating their wives on Monday is a great thing. So me saying something to that effect made her dislike me and maybe some other things. But anyways, that's the only information she gave me. So I want to explain something here. So for one thing, I don't like to back down from a challenge or like a question. I don't mind being wrong about something. I don't mind answering something and then coming back and retracting it or something. But if somebody tries to challenge my ideas, I'll let them take it to whatever extent they want to. So the idea of me ever talking about something like Beatless Mondays or Slaveless Tuesdays or any of these things that are comparable to Meatless Mondays are almost all brought from other people. It's from me saying something that like I think Meatless Mondays is a good thing, and then I'll explain it only referring to animals. And then they'll say, "You think that's a good thing? Well, that must mean that you're okay with Slaveless Tuesdays or Beatless Mondays for beating your wife or whatever." And then I'll come back and explain my thoughts on that. So there's a huge difference between somebody responding to something and somebody saying something on their own. Because one of the concerns that maybe she has with me is if she thinks that I like to provoke, like I like to say outrageous things or something, which I don't. I just happen to accept outrageous challenges. Vegan Gains challenged me with something involving me sacrificing my own life to stop the Holocaust or whatever. There's like wild challenges that could come across offensive. But it's not because I'm trying to provoke. It's because I'm saying whatever I say, and then when somebody challenges me, I don't turn it down. So that's one angle of it. I don't know if her care is the provoking, but if her care is the claim, I think there's a problem here. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with not wanting to talk. if she doesn't want to have a conversation with somebody for whatever reason, that's fine. Now she'll debate non-vegans, so people that think we should harm animals and that will be fighting to harm animals, and then she'll talk to fellow vegans. But then I guess there must be something about certain types of fellow vegans that makes it pointless to talk to them, even if you're going to talk to non-vegans. I can't imagine what that is. It makes sense to me, sort of, that there's somebody like Sky from Vegan Of Course, where he only talks to vegans. He doesn't debate non-vegans. And so that's his thing, and that's cool. And then it makes sense to have a thing where you debate non-vegans, because that's what you're doing. You're trying to debate non-vegans, and they might not talk to vegans because that's just they want to focus their time on talking to non-vegans. But to talk to both, but then to have certain vegans you won't talk to is I find it kind of strange. And the only reason it would make sense to not do it is if you thought somebody was a troll. Like if you thought somebody was like claiming to be a vegan and they weren't, or that they were just saying nonsense just for the sake of it. I've had to stop conversations with a couple troll type people like that before. So hopefully she doesn't think I'm a troll of any kind. Like I'm a person. I happen to like moral philosophy and discussing it. And I happen to be a vegan, and I happen to be very passionate about helping animals. And so there might be a couple different things about me that might some people might not like I eat bivalves, and I'm okay with bivalve eating. And then, like the whole Beatless Monday things, I'll talk about some outrageous things. I have some different thoughts on welfarism and a handful of different things. But the problem with being mad at somebody about this Beatless Monday idea is that it is practically objectively wrong. It's wrong to view my idea as bad. So basically, my idea is practically objectively right, as in morally right. Now, most people view morals as subjective, which is fine. They mostly are. But I would say the closest thing to morals being not subjective is sentient beings, humans and other animals, any sentient beings, do not want pain, and they do want pleasure. Now, I don't really have a strong take on if people should feel obligated to give pleasure, but intentionally causing pain, I think, is possibly the wrongest thing, the most objectively immoral issue. And that's because that's where morals come from. The idea of something being wrong must mean that there is pain happening, or pain or suffering or something like it. And now there will be cases where it's acceptable to do certain things because it's your only option or whatever. But for the most part, causing pain is wrong. So causing less pain is better than causing more pain. So I really don't like. There's nothing wrong with being offended by the idea of talking about Holocaust and comparing things to beating people or things with children or whatever. But one thing I will say, I'm pretty sure that Vegan Gaze does talk about the Holocaust as in like the animal Holocaust, even if people will be offended that it feels like it's being compared to the Jewish Holocaust. So it can't be something like that. It can't be that when I say Beatless Mondays for beating your wife is better than not having the Beatless Mondays. It can't be, but it must be just the idea of, hearing about a woman being beat sounds so horrible that I can't listen to anything else. I'm so angry that I won't listen to anything else. And it's essentially what's happening when somebody hears animal Holocaust compared to Jewish Holocaust. Now, I actually don't think it's the best approach to go. But if you do, liking one and not the other is so bizarre to me. But there's almost any possible scenario that we can look at that would involve something like the Beatless Monday thing. It's practically just clear. Now, similar to animals, if you have meatless Mondays and then people just add extra meat to their other days and therefore they're not cutting back on any meat, then there's nothing good about it. Same thing with beatless Mondays for beating wives. If you beat your wife every day, and then somebody convinces you to do beatless Mondays, but then you just beat her extra on other days, then beatless Mondays for beating your wife is not a good thing. Um, but the point with the meatless Monday thing is it seems to be something that could likely go in the direction of if somebody intentionally is cutting meat out of their diet and hopefully dairy and eggs on 1 day a week. A couple things are happening here. For one, they're doing it for a reason. They're like something made them do it. They're not just like randomly like, I'm not going to listen to any ideas of these vegans or anything connected to morals or health or whatever, but I'm just going to magically do it because I heard of it. I heard of Meatless Mondays, but I don't have any thought it's a good thing. I'm just going to do it. No, if somebody's thinking about doing Meatless Mondays or talked into it, they're talked into it for a reason, or they're thinking about it for a reason. So it means it's on their mind. So similar to most vegans, any of you out there that are listening to this, if you're vegan, then you probably went through this period of time of thinking about going vegan and then going vegan. And if part of that process is being convinced to do Meatless Mondays and then Meatless Monday and Tuesdays, then you're doing it for a reason. So it doesn't mean that it's no matter what, a Meatless Monday is a good thing. There's just so many positives to it that it makes sense to me to consider it a good idea. And if somebody says, oh, well, what about beatless Mondays for your wife? It must be the same thing unless you don't think beating is wrong.